Todd Huff.
Well, I tell you what, I wish Biden would start, building bridges and stop building walls. Isn't that how we play this game? Biden, as being reported by Fox News, confirmed by the Army Corps of Engineers, excuse me, if Obama was reading that, it'd be the Army Corps of Engineers, has confirmed to Fox News that a 13.4-mile stretch of wall in the Rio Grande Valley will resume construction. Building walls and not bridges. That's what Biden is now apparently doing along the U.S. southern border. It's remarkable, really. By the way, welcome to the program. I'm your host, Todd Huff. You can email me your thoughts, your questions, your feedback, suggestions. Just make it count is all I ask. Whether it's a Friday morning or a Tuesday, whenever you email me, todd@toddhuffshow.com. Thoughts, adoration and praise also accepted at that email address. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so the Army Corps of Engineers confirms to Fox News. I'm looking here in a post-millennial article, but I've also seen this on Fox News. President Biden will restart construction of President Trump's border wall. Biden is now fulfilling Trump's promise to build that wall. This is fantastic to me. The Biden administration, I'm reading from the article here, will pick up the equipment and materials they'd left abandoned at the U.S.-Mexico border and at the heat of Republican governors use them to create the barrier Trump supporters so desired. It is so bad. Think about this. The party of amnesty, the party of open borders, the party of the party who has enacted policies that have led to massive numbers, actually record numbers, of interactions between Border Patrol and illegal immigrants. We're at all-time highs. All-time highs. They have made things so bad. Folks, in less than 4 months, let that sink in. 4 months. Less than 4 months. Less than a third of this year. This is what we have seen unfold before our very eyes. Complete and unmitigated disaster. And this is, by the way, what else you are seeing when the radical left gets their fingers on something, when their fingerprints are on it. It is absolutely astonishing. It's not if you know what they're doing and what their ideas are, but it is astonishing to look at how atrocious their track record is. Goes to show you the power of messaging, the power of marketing, the power of branding, the power of a complicit media. Messaging. There is no there when it comes to substantive, helpful, productive ideas from the radical left. The radical left's ideas are a cancer, and they completely are destructive to our culture, to our country, to our freedoms, to our prosperity. They stand diametrically opposed as the antithesis to common sense, constitutional government. And it has gotten so bad that Joe Biden has said, we got to start building that wall. Now, they don't say this publicly because they don't want that really to be out there. Fox News had to dig around and call up the Army Corps of Engineers, the Corps of Engineers. Remember when Obama said that? I forget, it was the Marine Corps or something. Anyway, the Army Corps of Engineers said, yeah, we've actually been commissioned to continue this work under a shush order, I'm sure, from the Biden administration. If Trump, when Trump did this was inhumane. This was an assault to those trying to seek freedom. This was inexcusable. We should be building bridges and not walls. You know how the game is played. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. Army Corps of Engineers confirms that Biden is resuming the construction of Trump's wall. And this comes on the heels after 20 Republican governors sent that letter basically telling Biden that that he's responsible for the trouble that has been created for housing or dealing with immigrants, illegal immigrants, not just immigrants, illegal immigrants, people coming here without permission and so forth. We've got problems with our employment, of course. Why do we have that? Well, turns out, again, what the Democrats touch, the radical left touches, it's an absolute unmitigated disaster. So remember we talked about unemployment. I think it was maybe Monday. I don't know. It was this week. We talked about unemployment. Specifically, we talked about the Democrats' policies that have led to increases in unemployment. Where last month, which is April, the last month that we have reports on, the last full month, obviously we're still working through May. Who knows what's happening in May? But the Democrats, under Biden, saw unemployment tick up. Unemployment has ticked up under the Democrat leadership, despite the fact that people cannot, there are so many openings and so many jobs because the economy has fought through COVID. And now, by the way, I guess you all deserve a round of applause. You may, if you are vaccinated, they have told you don't have to wear your mask indoors or in public or outside in public. Meanwhile, I saw Bill Maher, who's been fully vaccinated, has now tested positive for coronavirus. So who knows where this is going to go. But in spite of all the stuff happening with COVID, all the lockdowns, all of the, again, utter unmitigated disaster that has been wreaked on the U.S. economy by radical leftist policies and ideas. I put that in air quotes, Seinfeld air quotes here, because it's not an idea. It's an emotional response. It is proven to not only not stop the spread of COVID. In fact, what was I think I even cited a study on here recently where Governor Cuomo was perplexed. Once again, the experts were wrong. The experts told us that locking people down should stop the spread of COVID-19, and more people were getting it at home than they were getting it at other places. According to a scientific report, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, if you're listening, that has been okayed, I believe, by your fact checkers. So I should be in the clear on that. But as a result, we're now hearing that it's just an unmitigated disaster. Not only did it not really effectively stop the number of people that got COVID, perhaps it slowed it down. I don't know, but people were still getting it. De Blasio as well, but Cuomo, they're utterly confused as to why this was happening. It's not what the scientists told them would happen. 15 days to slow the spread became 15 months, effectively, of complete lockdowns in some places. So there's fingerprints of destruction all over that as well. Unemployment has ticked up nationwide. And again, primarily, well, it's because of their policies. That's the thing. In fact, Fox and Friends, I think, had yesterday a gentleman on who owns restaurants in both Florida and in New York. He was being asked about basically trying to find work in both of these places. And Governor DeSantis in Florida said, hey, if you're on unemployment, you're going to have to start proving that you're looking for a job or you're not going to be able to qualify for unemployment benefits. Now, despite what Jen Psaki has told us, despite what Biden has told us, who Biden's out there telling people I shouldn't be answering questions. They don't want me doing this, which I love to hear. Now, of course, he might mean it to say, hey, I've got somewhere to go. They've got me on a schedule. But it certainly sounds like when he says stuff like this to someone like me, someone like you, that he's saying, hey, they've told me basically not to talk to you guys. but I'm going to answer some questions anyway. I remember hearing in meetings where they don't want me talking to the press without a teleprompter. I think that might have something to do with what I'm saying right now, sort of thing. But when they talk about unemployment, Jen Psaki especially, she's citing again experts. No. She asked was responding to a question by Steve Ducey's son Peter in a press conference recently, and she said, "Hey, that's not what we're finding. It's because of people don't want to work because vaccine numbers are not what they're supposed to be. Blah blah blah." Meanwhile, we have the CDC telling vaccinated people everything's good to go. Now what's their excuse? Of course, you know why. If you own a business, if you're responsible for hiring someone in a business, if you are, if you just have sense, you know what is the deal here. You know that people are looking. They're playing a game. They're playing a game with unemployment because they are getting as much, if not more in some cases, benefit from unemployment than they would if they were actually employed. So here is a gentleman who has businesses in both New York and in Florida. His name's Buddy Foy Jr., owner of Chateau by the Lake. He's got places, again, in both states. And he says, surprisingly, like magic fairy dust, Governor DeSantis, listen what happened. This is one restaurant. This is anecdotal. But nonetheless, it's still worth noting. And it is obvious. This is so obvious that this is what will happen if we begin to take steps to move from basically no questions asked, extended unemployment, all these other benefits. Listen to this exchange. Ducey's going to talk to the owner of this restaurant.
Governor DeSantis this week said residents receiving unemployment benefits will soon be required once again to show proof they're looking for a job. And so now suddenly people are looking for jobs in Florida, right? Where you're at.
It's just like that, magic fairy dust, right? Now you have to look for a job. The waiver is being removed for that search requirement for unemployment. And in the last 5 days, literally every day it's building to more and more. We got 0 phone calls in 5 months for jobs. Right. We've filled our jobs through referrals, Steve, through our current employees. In the last 5 days, our staff is saying, I can't keep answering the phone. We have to serve customers. It's ringing off the hook. Now, we get to compete for labor, which is pre-pandemic conversation.
Sure. But what about your New York location?
New York's tough. We're counting on referrals. We will open New York Memorial Day weekend, and we will take reservations based on the supply of labor versus our inventory of tables in real estate.
So it's got to.
Did you hear that? So he said, since Governor DeSantis a few days ago said we're going to make sure that if you're looking for, that if you're on unemployment, you have to prove to us you're trying to find work. They've gone from that situation to where he said it's 0 calls in 5 months in Florida. In the 5 days since, I think it must be 5 days since Governor DeSantis has, moved this into reality, enacted this, restored this requirement, what have you. He says we're getting so many phone calls that we have to tell the people calling in about work, hey, we've got customers to serve. Meanwhile, contrast that with the People's Republic of New York. People's Republic of New York, he says we still have to rely upon referrals, employee referrals, and basically go begging and pleading to try to find someone who wants to work, who understands the value of work, and he's doing that. Meanwhile, when it comes to reservations in New York, because of a labor crisis that's caused, again, by government action. Again, this is an example of the government putting its fingers on the scale and just tipping it so far in one direction, it throws all sorts of things out of whack, including the entire supply chain in this country. All of this caused by government. Make no mistake about that. He He says in New York, we're only going to be able to take reservations based upon, whether or not we have people that can work. So someone might say, hey, I would like to come in on a Tuesday evening, and they might have to say, nope, I'm sorry. We can only serve 3 tables that night because I've only got 1 server or whatever it is, right? So this is what happens when the left, the lovers of big government, put their fingers on the scale. And I got to say, some of these things were understandable at the time, but we have created an absolute unmitigated disaster here that has encouraged some people just simply not to work. And there's no denying this. Timeout is in order. When we get back, today's the day of this month where we speak with Matt Lamb, assistant editor of the College Fix. So we'll share our conversation about the lunacy happening in the world of education and on college campuses. And then later in the program, we'll get a little bit into the update on the Israeli conflict. But a timeout is in order. Sit tight. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Ward's Apparel, Edwards Equipment, and Indiana Wooded Paradise Retreat by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? There is a cure. With the Pro-Life Health Plan, your savings could be as much as 60%. The Pro-Life Health Plan allows you to enjoy the freedom of choosing any doctor, any hospital, anywhere. And their enrollment is open year-round. Just give Eric a call at 888-448-5370 or visit them online at isellhealth.com. Better coverage at a better cost. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, call my good friend Scott Veerkamp. Scott and his team have been helping people with their real estate needs since 1992, and he has sold literally thousands of homes for good families just like yours. For all your real estate needs, call Scott Veerkamp today at 317-979-4663. That's 979-HOME. I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and the satisfaction of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279 or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today. Providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price, our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
Weddings, reunions, business, church, or family retreats, Indiana Paradise Retreat is a hidden gem located right here in central Indiana. With over 11,000 square feet, a theater, gym, sauna, hot tub, pool, stocked lakes, and even an on-site event hangar, we have just the place for your next event. Find us on Airbnb, VRBO, or just search for Indiana Paradise Retreat. We look forward to seeing you soon.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
This is the College Fix interview series, brought to you by Apprentice University. Tired of being asked about your future at a young age? Apply today so you can graduate debt-free with real-world experiences and skills that prepare you for your outstanding future.
Now joined by Matt Lamb, assistant editor at the College Fix. Matt, how are you this morning, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure. I want to get right to it because there's a lot I want to get to here today as much as possible. So first and foremost, you all have, the College Fix has done an article here on something I had not seen. Indiana court throws out lawsuit from gay teachers fired by Catholic high schools. This is what's the school? Cathedral, right? Cathedral High School. Tell us what's going on
high
there.
Schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's two high schools. One is, I think it's pronounced Brebeuf.
Brebeuf,
it's a
yeah.
Jesuit high school,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cathedral High School. And so it's two men, each taught at one of the high schools, and then they married each other, so to speak. And then the Archdiocese of Indianapolis told the high schools that they had to fire those teachers because there are morality clauses in the standard contracts. So in Catholic Church canon law, each diocese, which is like the district, certain amount of cities and parishes, has the right to enforce who can use the term Catholic or not. It's sort of like if you think about like franchises, like McDonald's can't just use the term McDonald's without the permission of McDonald's. It's
You shouldn't anyway.
Catholic.
So,
so these teachers were fired. They fought the lawsuits. There's a couple other pending, but basically this one court in Marion County tossed the lawsuits because this is the Catholic Church's position on marriage, and they have a right. There's a couple Supreme Court cases that basically affirm they have a right to hire and fire whom they want, especially based off the religious beliefs of the Archdiocese and the Catholic Church.
That's right. So it's a First Amendment issue because, and by the way, that's part of the Catholic teaching. That's just not some obscure little footnote somewhere. Right. I mean, this is a central, kind of critical component. And these two individuals decided to work at places that openly, teach that marriage is between a man and a woman. So where does this stand now? The court has dismissed this? Is that what I'm to understand, or are there other lawsuits?
Right. So at the state level, because it's a county court, tossed out the lawsuit. But I believe there are some other lawsuits pending. It's like I said, it's two teachers who are each suing, I think, the schools and the Archdiocese. So there's some more cases, but there's a Supreme Court case, I think a year or two ago, that basically said religious schools have a right to fire and hire their own personnel based on religious freedom laws. It's called the ministerial exception. This makes sense. So I went to Catholic high school, and imagine if you have one theology class where it says, as you point out, that Catholic Church teaches marriage is between a man and a woman. It's for bringing forth children. And then they go, well, what about teacher so-and-so? He's married to a man. So it's just easier. It just makes more sense, obviously, for the school to have one clear cohesion with the Catholic Church on the issue of marriage.
Yeah, and what's the point of having a position if you aren't, following it or, making, saying that this is what we believe and this is how we're going to live here within this Catholic community. Other people can choose to disagree with it, but that's kind of part of the process of being involved with an organization like that. What about this? This intrigues me too, Matt. Soccer coach wants everyone treated with respect except players who oppose Black Lives Matter. This is Virginia Tech, a soccer coach, a girls soccer coach, I believe. What's going on there?
Sure. So there was a student, I think her name's Kirsten Henning, and she was a soccer player at Virginia Tech, and her coach, who goes by the name Chugger, I can only guess where that name came from. He, back in 2020, you remember this was the first semester after the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter protests. And, there was all the different, the ACC had a unity statement, and some players were kneeling for the national anthem and supporting Black Lives Matter. And this player who was really good was getting, playing time, said, I support, racial justice, but I don't support Black Lives Matter because they want to abolish the nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
They support a lot of social issues that I don't agree with as a Christian. And he, according to a lawsuit, of course this will go to court and the evidence will be brought out, but allegedly he berated her. He definitely stopped playing her. I mean, that's objectively, verifiable. He stopped playing her. He put another person in her position who had never even played that position or definitely wasn't as good as her. And so there was actually a lawsuit filed against her basically saying that, by extension, he violated her First Amendment rights to not promote an ideology because he punished her for not doing this. And again, this has nothing really to do with her ability as a soccer player. It's not like he punished her because she, was playing poorly, wasn't scoring goals, wasn't doing her job. He punished her as a soccer player for not taking an unrelated, political stand.
So where does this is still going through the courts now?
Yeah, so it was filed in a federal court. I think it was in early March. I think it was filed in Richmond because it's at Virginia Tech. And so, there'll certainly be, most likely a hearing in Virginia Tech. We'll have to go to court because it's the lawsuits against the coach and Virginia Tech, who was also sued. I should have sent you this story for an unrelated free speech issue that by another group. So hopefully Virginia Tech has good First Amendment attorneys because it sounds like they're going to be spending a lot of time in federal courts.
Well, it sounds like they've got a lot of woke coaches and professors and so forth. What about this? This is the sort of stuff that I remember being kind of what I want to say mocked or as a parody, set up as parody maybe 20 years ago when I was younger. University stops including race and crime alerts, won't say if it plans to study its effects. This is University of Illinois at Chicago. Tell our audience what's going on here.
Sure. So carjackings are increasing in the city of Chicago. But University of Illinois Chicago, which is a public university, so it's the Chicago campus of U of I, more famous Big Ten school, they said they're not going to provide a suspect's, quote, race, ethnicity, or national origin as a descriptor and public safety advisory. So these would be like the crime alerts that students, faculty, and staff would get saying, there was a reported a man who was, waving a knife around outside campus. And so obviously if you're trying to catch a suspect, the more information, height, weight, race, what was he wearing or what was she wearing is helpful. So they announced this in January. So we reached out and, it's been a couple months, almost a full semester. And we asked them, has there been any effect or do you even plan to study it? And we asked the criminal justice, criminology department there. And tellingly, they said, we asked a couple people. One said, oh, it's interesting, but I'm not going to study it. And, we didn't really get any responses. And what's curious is as we look through the faculty at this criminology department, very few of them actually have policing or law enforcement backgrounds. It's mostly women and gender studies, sociology. So it kind of raises question of who's formulating these policies. And it's an academic research question. Like the university put in place a policy. What is its effect? Maybe it didn't have any effect, in which case that would be worth noting. And I think the school would want to tell people, we did this, but it didn't affect our ability to catch criminals. But they're not going to study it, which it it doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make sense to anyone. And this is the consequences of, again, having woke faculty, public. This is public safety, right? This should be the whole purpose of public safety is to create safety at the end. And if you don't know if it's doing its job, what are you? It's just you're out there meandering and wandering with no purpose. So do they identify whether the person is male or female? Because I just see race.
Yes.
They do.
Yeah, so in their police reports, and I looked at some of their recent police reports, and, you can kind of tell it seems like there's similar incidents happening. There was 2 cases of fondling by someone with the same description within a couple blocks. But if you don't know the race of the person, knowing it's a 5'8", 40-year-old doesn't really help. If you know the race, it cuts down the amount of people you need to look out for.
Well, and they're reporting gender for now. I mean, that's next on the list, I'm sure,
right,
in the woke social justice warriors agenda. My oh my, there's other stuff. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's quite interesting because if you think about it, it's if let's say it's a white male committing all these crimes. Well, as much as we hear about stopping white supremacy, they're in theory making it harder to catch these white criminals, right? Because if you don't report any race, then it's white, black, Hispanic. All these people could be getting away with crime. So if you're worried about white supremacy and violent white men, for example, then this policy seems to go against those goals too.
Absolutely, truly absurd. There's another one. I don't have time to get into it, but we can share this for our listeners. First Amendment law professor wants to make lying an impeachable offense, which she's from George Washington University. We can post that. But Matt, tell folks where they can read more or learn more about the College Fix and have a better understanding of what is happening in the world of education on college campuses today. Where can they go? How can they stay connected with you?
Yeah, the best place is to go to thecollegefix.com, and there will be a pop-up, and there's a couple different places you can sign up for our emails, which is the best way to make sure we can keep reaching you. We also are on Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, I think MeWe, Gab, all of those alternative ones. So also you can always just bookmark thecollegefix.com and visit us every day. We post stories throughout the day, so always plenty of news to read.
Awesome. Well, Matt, as always, I appreciate you being with us and sharing some of this insanity, what's going on, and keep up the good work. Matt Lamb, assistant editor, The College Fix. Matt, thanks a lot, sir.
Yep.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, Care to Change, and Interior Construction Services by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Are you looking for reliable advice on real estate investing? Then you should start listening to the Homeboys. Clint and Scott have over 40 years of real estate investing experience that they use to educate and guide their listeners. Listen and learn from their experiences to maximize your real estate investment strategy. You can find the Homeboys Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or watch them on YouTube. That's the Homeboys Podcast. They can show you how to get started and reach your real estate investment goals.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Hunting, fishing, bows, guns, ammo, safes, and more. The Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has all the gear you need for your outdoor experience. We have a huge selection of brands that other shops don't carry, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff ready to answer all your outdoor adventure questions. At Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood, you can even hone your archery skills at our indoor shooting range. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. So get outdoors, but bring the right gear.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Welcome back. Just as a public service announcement, I want to share this with you. The White House reminding the nation that permission slips to eat a hot dog on the 4th of July are due by today, Friday. This, according to the Babylon Bee. I love the Babylon Bee. Says here, by the way, that if you fail to turn in your permission slip to eat your hot dog on the 4th of July today, you will be allowed to apply for a 1-week extension after, of course, paying a small fine. Any citizens caught consuming hot dogs on Independence Day without approval will be detained by authorities until the fireworks are over and there's only cold potato salad left, so says the Babylon Bee. I know that this is halfway believable. They just told us yesterday that we don't have to wear masks indoors or outdoors if we've been fully vaccinated. And as I mentioned earlier, ironically, Bill Maher, who's been fully vaccinated, just tested positive for COVID. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you as a public service announcement. Short segment here because of the length of the interview and the length of your long-winded host earlier in the program. But when we get back, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on, kind of as an extension of our conversation yesterday, about what's going on in Israel with Hamas, the West Bank, all this sort of Gaza, all this stuff. We'll talk about that when we get back. Sit tight. By the way, listening to this program could cause you to lean to the right, so be advised. This is your warning right now that if you're operating heavy machinery, driving a vehicle down the road, just be careful. You might find yourself drifting off to the right. Operate machinery and vehicles with caution. Back here in just a minute.
Enrollment in Todd's conservative, not bitter university is now open. For a limited time, save $10 on Todd's first course, A Christian's Guide to Being a Patriot. For more information or to enroll, visit conservativenotbitter.com. Sponsored in part by Workforce Chaplains. Could your business or organization benefit from the services of a professional team of chaplains? Meet the needs of your employees and foster an excellent work environment with Workforce Chaplains. For more information, visit workforcechaplains.com today.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with zero body fillers, zero painting, and zero diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
Not again! There's never any hot water left for my shower. Everyone else gets a nice long soak and I'm left with ice water. I'm calling Commercial Service about their latest offer on tankless water heaters. I can save up to $800 on an installation. No more cold showers for me.
Call the partner you can trust. Call Commercial Service at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com. Commercial Service. Commercial grade service for your home.
Quality glass windows and doors add value to your home or commercial space. At White's Innovative Glass, our family-owned and operated company will work with you to ensure we understand your vision before we begin. And if you don't have a vision, we can help with that too. We proudly stand behind our work and look forward to your call. Right now, we're offering 15% off your next project. Visit our website at whitesinnovativeglass.com/Todd.
Unhappy with your CPAP machine? Now you have an alternative. The docs at Indy Dental Sleep have an oral appliance that treats snoring and sleep apnea. They begin with an in-home sleep test that is diagnosed by a sleep physician before prescribing your appliance. And it's covered by most medical insurance plans. It's preferred 20-1 versus CPAP. Call 317-888-4036 and start getting the sleep you need. Or visit indydentalsleep.com.
Haven't filed your taxes yet? You're in luck. But time is running out, so you need to act now. In the ongoing effort dealing with the pandemic, the IRS has officially extended the tax filing deadline to May 17th instead of April 15th. Tax payments can also be deferred until May 17th without any penalties and interest. With all of the changing regulations for the stimulus checks, PPP loans, mortgage forgiveness, and other changes with the COVID relief bills, this is the year to make sure you have everything covered. Midwest Tax Group is your local expert in everything taxes. 317-288-5260. They've been serving the Indianapolis area for over 10 years. They complete most tax returns within a week and will get you every penny you deserve. 317-288-5260. Can't come into one of their 4 office locations? Or prefer contact-free meetings and document preparation? Midwest Tax Group makes it easy to submit all of the necessary information without ever coming in person. Visit them online at mwtaxgroup.com for more information.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Welcome back. So yesterday we spent by the way, should tell you here, program brought to you by our friends at Freegee and Freegee Auctioneers. FreegeeAuctioneers.com, FREIJE Auctioneers with an S.com, FreegeeAuctioneers.com. They have here coming in the days to, I think it's the 17th here. I was just looking at this a minute ago. The 17th, they have a real estate auction. You know, houses are selling faster than people can even get them listed, basically. They're going, as you know, over asking price in many situations. Even if you're trying to buy real estate, through the traditional means, it becomes a bidding war in some circumstances. So maybe it's time to check out a real estate auction. And Freegee is hosting one in Brazil on May the 17th, which is on, Monday, May 17th. It's in Brazil. So they're auctioning a property there. You can find out more by going to their website, FreijeAuctioneers.com, FREIJE auctioneers.com. So we were talking yesterday a lot about, we spent the program pretty much talking about this Israel-Hamas situation, right? We've been talking about just kind of the background, how we got there, the tensions, how deeply this runs. Just there's so many facets and factors here. Israel's now, they've called up 9,000 reservists, and they're looking to go in basically and fight Hamas with ground forces. That's as Hamas continues to lob rockets into Israel. Israel's Iron Dome is picking off the majority, or a couple. Sometimes, unfortunately, these rockets slip through. But the Iron Dome is a remarkable thing in intercepting these rockets and so forth. But tensions have continued to increase, and Israel's out there, to their credit. And I read Netanyahu's speech yesterday, but Israel's out there basically saying that, until they completely stop, we're not, we're going to go after their leaders. We're going to take them out. We're going to go in and we're going to push them back, take the territory we need. The moment that they raise their hands and they surrender, they being Hamas, the terrorist organization, the moment they do that, we will stop, and that's where we're drawing the new line. That's where the new boundary is. We're not going to play these games with you anymore. We're a sovereign nation. By the way, I've heard this question asked before. I forget. I don't know who asked it. I would like to give them credit because they're spot on here. They're spot on with this analysis by framing or asking this question. And the question was this, and I don't know if it was Hamas specifically, but it was one of these groups, these anti-Israel terrorist groups. And the question was, if one of these anti-Israel terrorist groups had Israel's army, would there even be a nation of Israel? Now, for those of you who are believers in the power of God in protecting Israel, I'm asking you for a moment to it's a big thing to do. I'm not saying to just for the sake of understanding, but take God out of this equation, because God tells us he's going to protect the people, his people Israel. But just on the surface, looking at this from purely a human perspective, if the terrorist organizations had the Israeli military, would there be, outside of God's protection, a nation of Israel? And the answer is no. So you have to ask yourself, then why is there still a Hamas? Because Israel has been, and Israel's not perfect. That is not what this is about. But Israel has really, gone out of their way to try to coexist with some of these folks who candidly want them to be wiped off the face of the planet. Wiped off the face of the planet. The techniques and the tactics employed by the radical terrorists in Hamas include using schools and hospitals as their base of operations, so that when Israeli airstrikes come in, hitting the targets where rockets are often fired from, which include places like this, and civilians are killed, Israel is blamed for this. Israel is blamed for the death of civilians. Hamas is setting this whole thing up. Hamas is, again, I'm not giving Israel a green light here, but this is what happens. And I want to play a quick, I don't have time to play it, but there's a soundbite by the former Defense Minister Naftali Bennett. He was talking with a journalist from Al Jazeera, I believe, and he told him these deaths are on the hands of Hamas. And the journalist said, Israel's the one firing the missiles. And his point was, they are the ones who have chosen to engage in this. They are the ones that have put their resources and energy into building a military to attack the nation of Israel, and they are the ones who are employing these tactics. They are the ones with blood on their hands, and I'm going to take a break. Back here in just a minute.
Stay on top of the nonsense our colleges are subjecting students to today by listening to Todd's monthly interview series with Matt Lamb, assistant editor of The College Fix. Listen at toddhuffshow.com/college. Brought to you by Apprentice University. With so many societal changes, everyone's talking about apprenticeships and college debt. Businesses seek employees with practical problem-solving skills. Visit apprentice.university to learn about our demanding academics and paid apprenticeships in excess of tuition. No debt, in-demand skills, Christian community.
Unhappy with your CPAP machine? Now you have an alternative. The docs at Indy Dental Sleep have an oral appliance that treats snoring and sleep apnea. They begin with an in-home sleep test that is diagnosed by a sleep physician before prescribing your appliance. And it's covered by most medical insurance plans. It's preferred 20-1 versus CPAP. Call 317-888-4036 and start getting the sleep you need. Or visit IndyDentalSleep.com.
Know someone looking for a fun summer job? We're now hiring lifeguards around the Indianapolis area. Make a difference while meeting new people, build your teamwork skills, and spend time outdoors. We offer lifeguard certification classes. To find out more, go to indianapolis-pmg.com and choose the lifeguarding menu option. That's indianapolis-pmg.com.
There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit blakehornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual. Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep. Flooded basement? Failed sump pump? Water damage happens fast this time of year. For 38 years now, Hayes & Sons has been restoring water damage in Indiana homes and businesses. They'll help you navigate your insurance claim and get your life back on track. So when a water disaster strikes, tell your insurance agent you want Hayes & Sons for your restoration work. Visit hayesandsons.com/Todd for more information.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Welcome back, my friends. This perhaps the saddest time of the week for you, and I understand that. We're coming to an end of this busy week. Lots of things to discuss, and we are coming to the end of the Friday episode. But fear not. You can always download our podcast totally free. Just go to wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you don't listen to podcasts, it really, I know if you're not into technology, it might sound a little bit, confusing or like it's a big deal. It really isn't. If you have a smartphone, you already have an app on there. You just open up Apple Podcasts and search for the Todd Huff Show, and you hit download, and there you go. You can listen to anything you may have missed. That will excuse your absence from this program. But anyway, you can do that, and of course, we'll be back on Monday. So, guys, I appreciate it so much. Best audience in the world. Have a great weekend. SDG. See you Monday. Take care.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.